We're just about to be joined by Alan Keyes, former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations and three-time Republican presidential candidate. But first, I want us to all watch and listen to this.
If I was presidential, first of all, I'd have a teleprompter. You ever see crooked Hillary Clinton? She walks in. Oh, she walks in. Good afternoon, Bridgeport. How are you? This is crooked Hillary Clinton.
All right, so Alan, welcome back, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Good to talk to you. All right, you wrote a piece, Trump versus GOP elite, like pro wrestling, so I thought I'd play a little bit of something that might also look a little, a little amateurish, but, it's what people love about Donald Trump. But first, let me ask you about the alliance, which, as I've pointed out several times already, appears to be fraying because this Indiana alliance between Cruz and Kasich, where Kasich doesn't know. He said, I want people to vote for me, but not according to Cruz. According to Cruz, he doesn't want people to vote for him. But what do you think of them getting together as they did?
Well, I think the reports and all of the things that are going on are really meant to encourage people to take seriously the view that what is happening in the Republican Party involves some serious effort to reflect the feelings of grassroots people. And I think that that's actually all of it kind of fraudulent because the party is actually in no way connected any longer with its grassroots and hasn't been for some years, as you can see from the record of people in Congress. But also, I think, from the disaffection. What Donald Trump is exploiting is the fact that a lot of people have grown angry and frustrated with a party that takes their votes and refuses to follow its own platform when it comes to legislation, rejecting the Obama administration's socialist approaches and other things, including immigration. And so I think it's just part of the show.
Yeah. Well, no, okay, fair enough. But let me ask you this about the Trump versus the GOP elite. You wrote that piece for WND. What is going on here? Because tomorrow we just had Mike Kelly, congressman from the state of Pennsylvania, talk about how it's conceivable that Trump could win the state and lose the majority of delegates.
Well, I think that two things are true. First, you have a process within the GOP that has grown since I first started participating in national politics in '96. I think it's grown more and more top-heavy in terms of the control of the people who actually represent the interest of money, of the money that backs, if you don't mind my saying so, the media, the money that is involved in the government's budget and that therefore supports the bureaucrats. But they don't any longer respond at all to the grassroots sentiment of their people, as is shown on a whole range of issues in terms of what happens actually as a result. And I think that that's the problem right now. But the one thing they do very well is put on a show meant to engage the attention of people so that they don't think about the only serious alternative, which is to reject both these parties and do what folks have had to do in the past in America, build a new political vehicle that's actually based on representing the people at the grassroots rather than the whole variety of special interests that actually live off the teat of the government's money.
Let me ask you, in this day and age, there might be two schools of thought on this, that with the media age and the social media age in which we live, and the age of massive money and PACs and super PACs, I would maintain that it's more difficult for a new political party to come along. I mean, the Libertarians have been trying it for forever. The Green Party has tried it. This party's tried it. Am I wrong that in this, where we are today as a nation, sophistication and media sophistication and big money makes it harder, or do you think it makes it actually more likely?
Well, I think in actual fact it makes it easier. There has never been a time in the history of the world when communications among individuals at the grassroots was so easy as it is today. But I will grant you one thing. The great problem has been that people are using this tremendous, I think it's the greatest revolution since the invention of the printing press, the internet. And instead of using it in their citizen capacity, they're using it to exchange trivia, to scratch each other's emotional backs, and so forth and so on. But when it comes to a serious effort to communicate with one another and organize as they could never before in the history of the world, they're not taking advantage of the social media networks that exist. And I find that it's like spitting in the wind right now to get people to realize that this is a hugely serious transformation of the political potential of each and every citizen, and the potential for grassroots networking that is not based on money. The thing that intrigues me is, think of the social media. They depend entirely on the work of ordinary folks, but they cream off all the money to go into the pockets of the people who claim to own the media. It's as if a theater should show the productions of people without ever paying them for their work. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
So the people who produce the result don't get any benefit from it financially, and they're not taking advantage of it to build their political strength. But all they'd have to do is do so, and you would see a power that would animate the actual intentions of our constitutional system more than ever.
10 seconds. Would you be interested in being a head of that party, an organizer of that party?
Well, see, I don't think in terms of party, first of all.
Okay,
I think what we need is an independent grassroots effort that comes from the bottom.
Alan, I got to go. I should have asked out loud. We'll pick up on that next time. Thank you very much. Alan Keyes, folks. Your calls are next. Don't go away.